Huh?
Oh, I'm going to do so much editing for this episode.
My,
Mum's unwell again. Full circle. Welcome to the first episode where Mum has no voice.
I've got a voice.
I've got a voice.
Got half a voice. Last week I had no voice, Friday or Saturday. It was bliss for everybody around me.
Yes, she's unwell. You've been sick for like a week now.
I know. It started Thursday week.
Yeah.
So it's been over nearly a week and a half.
She's dying.
Last time it lasted like 5 or 6 weeks. Remember we went through all
Yes,
we tried to Dr. Google.
we figured out it wasn't tuberculosis.
And it's not COVID. I've done whatever's on the COVID test now. Isn't there like 2 or 3 things that...
Yeah, I think it's got like influenza and all them.
Whatever it was all no. I was like, oh, I'm not dying. That's a shame.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Welcome to Mainly Murder with Meg and Mum. Hi, Meg.
I'm dying.
She's dying. So, last week we covered the case of Shannon Matthews, a kidnapping that, despite all the twists, lies, and absolute chaos, at least ended with Shannon being found alive. Unfortunately, this week's case doesn't have the same ending.
Spoiler. Don't need to listen now.
It's called Mainly Murder. Today's story is one of Australia's most heartbreaking child abductions.
Oh, see, I don't like child stories or old people
We
stuff.
know. We asked ChatGPT about your birth chart.
It just gets me angry.
Soz, mate. Well, you're going to be very angry today.
Oh, fuck.
It involves a family whose lives changed overnight after a stroke of incredible luck, only to find themselves living through every parent's worst nightmare just months later. This is the case of Graeme Thorne. Ring any bells?
No.
Okay. Graeme Frederick Hilton Thorne was born on the 18th of December 1951 in Sydney, New South Wales.
So why would that ring a bell for me? I wasn't even fucking born then.
Well, shut up.
Jesus Christ. Ring a bell? Oh, yeah, I remember he was in the cot next to me. Fucking idiot.
The Thorne family consisted of Basil Thorne, his wife Frida, their eldest daughter Cheryl, 8-year-old Graham, and the youngest child, 3-year-old Belinda. Frida had grown up in the central west north
south of Sydney. She was everywhere.
Central west of New South Wales.
Oh, right.
Town of Cowra?
Yeah.
Because it's not Corowa. A true country girl, she was known for her love of music and was a talented pianist who often played at local dances. It was during World War II where she met the man she would eventually marry.
Oh.
Basil. Was stationed.
And she still married him.
Yeah.
What's your name? Basil.
Basil.
Okay, next.
Basil. Maybe it was
Sorry to all the Basils out there.
Basil? Maybe
No.
he said it like that.
No.
So he was stationed at Cowra, serving at the Japanese prisoner of war camp there, and the pair struck up a romance that would lead them to a new life together. After marrying, they settled in Sydney and began raising their family. Basil joined his father in working as a commercial traveller. It wasn't glamorous.
What's a fucking commercial traveller? Is that a tour guide?
It
Wouldn't that be a
sounds
commercial
like it.
traveller?
I think he was like a travelling salesman, essentially.
Vacuum.
Encyclopedias, who knows?
Yeah,
Imagine lugging them
encyclopedias.
around.
Huh?
Imagine lugging.
Oh,
Did you go
would've
to a
been-
house and then they order it? Or
Yeah, I think they used to take like one
to
one
look at.
letter of, to go, this is one
Yeah.
of 26 of the bastards that you'll end up in your bookcase.
Jesus Christ.
Nan will throw them in your recycle when you die. They'll just fucking go. She doesn't care. I don't like that book. Bang. Everything's in the recycle. Go, Nan.
She's savage.
Oh, fucking she what? Jesus Christ.
It wasn't glamorous work, but it was honest, steady employment that helped put food on the table. Life wasn't easy for Basil and Frida. Their firstborn child, Cheryl, was born with a severe disability that meant she couldn't live at the family home. Faced with an impossible decision that no parent ever wants to make, Basil and Frida placed her in a specialised institution north of Sydney that cared for children with disabilities.
Oh, that'd be hard.
Oh, yeah, and in the 50s?
How's it go?
Like,
Inhale too much?
yeah. What set the Thornes apart, however, was that they never hid Cheryl's experience. At a time when families in similar situations were encouraged to keep these children out of sight and rarely speak of them, Basil and Frida continued to acknowledge Cheryl as a beloved part of their family.
It's a bit like Call the Midwife. There's been a few of them
Dear
where...
God.
No, there was a few of them where they had neither been vaccinated or whatever, and it was in around the 50s and early 60s. And like they were born with one little girl. I remember the 2 older kids were normal in the episode, but this little girl, her limbs didn't grow, so she had like little dinosaur arms and her little legs. But when they put her in the cot and was just the head, shoulders up, everyone's like, oh, what a beautiful baby, blah, blah, blah. And when she picked it up, everyone freaked out. And they wanted them to put her in a home. And they're like, no, she's one of our kids. And they kept her in the house. That was one of the cute stories. Anyway. I digress.
Their family grew with the arrival of Graeme in 1951, followed by Belinda in 1957. By all accounts, the Thornes were a typical conservative Australian family of the era. They lived modestly, worked hard, and constantly balanced the realities of raising children with the financial pressures of everyday life. Money was tight.
Said everyone, everywhere. Yep.
Basil's job as a commercial traveller involved endless hours on the road, lugging heavy sample cases from client to client.
There you go. Well, it was vacuums or bloody encyclopedias or something.
While Frida managed the household and cared for the family. In late 1959, they moved into a basic ground floor rental flat in Bondi. It wasn't luxurious, but it was clean, comfortable, and enough for the family. Like countless Australians at the time, they rented because home ownership felt completely out of reach.
And
still the same now.
Yep.
The family rented the house at 79 Edward Street in Bondi, a suburb of Sydney. In 1960, the New South Wales government was facing a problem.
Still do.
Every year. The construction of the Sydney Opera House was proving far more expensive than they originally expected, and additional funding was needed to keep the ambitious project moving forward. To help raise money, the government launched a series of Opera House lotteries. Tickets were sold across the state, giving ordinary Australians a chance to win a life-changing sum of money while helping fund what eventually became one of the country's most iconic landmarks. For most people, buying a ticket was just a bit of fun, a small chance at striking luck. First prize was 100,000 Australian dollars.
Jesus, in the 60s.
Equivalent to $1 million now.
1 million.
Yeah.
1 million.
Fuck, I've done that twice now.
1 million.
I did that in another episode.
Yep, you're an idiot when it comes to money. 1 million. Not 1.1 million, not 1.2 million. Just 1 million. The point is they won $1 million. Well done, Megan. Yep.
1.8
Oh,
million.
1.8 million. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. That was the prize money back then, was like 100,000.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, on the 1st of June 1960, winning with ticket number 3932 was Basil Thorne.
Oh, go Baz.
That's what I mentioned. I wasn't just going to add.
I figured they won it, but...
Yeah. Today, if you win a major lottery, your identity is usually protected.
Yeah, you can tell them you don't want people to know.
Back in 1960, this wasn't really considered. In fact, there was very little understanding of the need for privacy for lottery winners. To prove the draws were legitimate and reassuring the public that the prizes were actually being paid out, newspapers routinely published photographs, names, addresses...
Oh, how'd you be?
Occupations and other personal details of the winner.
You'd have every scumbag you ever was introduced to coming knocking on your door.
When the Thorne family won the Opera House lottery, they suddenly found themselves splashed across the front pages of Sydney newspapers. Strangers now knew exactly who they were, and it wasn't just their identity that was public. Newspapers also reported details about the prize itself, including that the winnings would be paid to the family on Thursday, July 7th.
Oh, so they got robbed on Friday, July 8th?
In other words, anyone reading the paper knew that the Thornes were about to receive a substantial amount of money and exactly when they would receive it. On the morning of July 7th, just 5 weeks after the Thorne family lottery win was publicly announced, Graeme Thorne left for school as he always did.
School?
He was 8.
Oh, Graeme. Oh, I thought that was the dad. What the fuck?
It was a routine morning in Sydney. Nothing appeared unusual. The 8-year-old prepared for his day ahead and left home at around 8:30 a.m, heading towards his usual meeting spot. Graeme typically walked the short distance of about 300 metres from his home to the corner of Wellington and O'Brien Street. There he would wait to be picked up by a family friend, Phyllis Smith, who regularly drove him to school along with her other children. It was a simple, familiar agreement. Safe, predictable, the kind of everyday...
Predictable, the kind that anybody standing on the opposite side of the road could see.
Oh, yes. But that morning, something broke that routine. At 8:40 a.m, Phyllis Smith arrived at the corner of Wellington and O'Brien Street to pick up Graeme from school, for school, but he wasn't there. At first, she assumed she might have missed him or that plans had changed, so she drove the short distance to the Thorne family home to check. When she arrived and asked Graham's mother if he had already left, the response was immediate confusion. Frida Thorne confirmed that Graeme had left home that morning as usual and should have been on his way to meet Phyllis. There was no indication that anything was wrong, just uncertainty about where he might have gone. Trying to reassure herself, Phyllis then drove to the Scots College in Bellevue Hill to see if Graeme had somehow made his own way to school, but he wasn't there either. By the time she returned, the concern had shifted into something far more serious. Graeme was not simply delayed, he was missing.
Yeah, clearly.
Well, he's not home, he's not at school, he's not.
I'm guessing some ransom's about to follow.
Yeah.
That is dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that just set that whole family up.
Yeah.
It's like, keep an eye out if they've got kids, help yourself because they're going to pay to get them back and you know they got money. Yeah. You know exactly how much money they got.
So Frida Thorne then contacted the police to report her 8-year-old son missing. At 9:40 a.m., just over an hour after Graeme had left home, the situation took a chilling turn. The phone rang at the Thorne residence. On the line was a man with a noticeable foreign accent. By this point, Sergeant Larry O'Shea of the Bondi Police had already arrived at the home and was with Frida. When the call came through, he took the phone from her and pretended to be Graeme's father, who was away on business in Kempsey. The caller's message was brief and direct. I have your boy. I want $25,000, or Australian pounds back then, before 5 o'clock this afternoon. I'm not fooling. If I don't get the money before 5 o'clock, I'll feed the boy to the sharks. It was a threat that immediately escalated the case from a missing child investigation to a confirmed kidnapping. Sergeant O'Shea expressed doubt about being able to access such a large amount of money on short notice, explaining that he would need time to arrange it. At that point, he was unaware that the Thornes had recently won the lottery.
Dickhead.
After hearing O'Shea's response, the caller stated he would ring back at 5 p.m. with further instructions. Then, without offering any additional information about Graeme's condition or whereabouts, he ended the call. At 9:47, the kidnapper called again. This time, a different police officer answered the phone, continuing the same ruse that he was Graeme's father.
Jesus Christ. So this bloke's gone, gee, he sounded funny. He sounded Irish to start with. Now he sounds like an Aussie. Next time he'll ring up, he'll be fucking French.
The goal was simple. Keep the caller talking long enough for the authorities to attempt to trace the line. The officers engaged the caller, trying to draw out details and buy precious time. During the conversation, the kidnapper began outlining instructions for the ransom drop. The money, he said, was to be placed into 2 separate paper bags. But just as quickly as the information was being given, the call ended. While police launched an immediate and concentrated search around the Thorne family in Bondi, officers worked urgently to establish any trace of Graeme. As the first day of the kidnapping unfolded, the investigation remained tightly controlled, but news of what happened soon began to spread beyond police channels. The story was eventually picked up by journalist Bill Jenkins of the Sydney Daily Mirror, and the case rapidly moved into the public spotlight. By 8:30 p.m, the situation had escalated to the point where the authorities made a televised appeal from the Bondi police station. The New South Wales Police Commissioner addressed the public, outlining the urgency of the case and asking for any information that might assist in locating Graeme. He was followed briefly by Basil Thorne, Graeme's father, who appeared visibly emotional as he made a public plea for his son's safe return. By the following evening, Friday, July 8th, the investigation had taken a more fragmented and urgent turn as new leads began to emerge across Sydney. The focus of the search shifted to the city's northeastern suburbs after Graeme's school bag was discovered near Seaforth. The find provided the first tangible physical link outside the Bondi area, suggesting that Graeme may have been transported a significant distance from where he disappeared. So Bondi to Seaforth is about a 30-minute drive. So his bag has been found 30 minutes away. On the same day, investigators received...
Did pointing help?
No one can see me, but I'm pointing as if I've just flicked a basketball.
Right.
Yo.
30 minutes away.
On the same day, investigators received another potential sighting that added further complexity to the case. A tipster reported seeing a young boy matching Graeme's description in the company of 2 men and a woman travelling through Pennant Hills in northern Sydney. So that's I'm not going to point now. That's a further 40 minutes away from sea. So
isn't that where we stayed? Pennant Hill?
Possibly.
Or was it Pendle Hill?
I don't know. I can't remember. I remember driving.
Yeah.
I remember going to Parramatta and the very rude train man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that.
Anyway, so
surely they wouldn't have a Pendle Hill and a Pennant Hill. Or maybe. Anyway. Anywho.
So Bondi to Seaforth was 30 minutes, and then Seaforth to Pennant Hills was 40 minutes. So now he's fucking been spotted a while away. The account was supported by information from the owners of a nearby petrol station who said they observed a group fitting the description stop at their service station around 10 p.m. on July 7th, the night of the kidnapping. They described the vehicle as a dark-coloured Dodge-type sedan, notably missing a front number plate. Taken together, these reports suggested that Graeme may have been moved through multiple locations in the hours after he disappeared. For investigators, it widened the scope of search dramatically. What had begun as a neighbourhood emergency in Bondi was now sprawling city-wide, involving multiple possible sightings. On July 11th, further grim discoveries added to the growing list of the clues in the search for Graeme Thorne. His school cap, along with the contents of his school case, was found in the same general location as his school bag. An official reward of $5,000 was announced for information leading to Graeme's recovery. In addition, 2 newspapers collectively ordered a further $15,000. While the rewards were intended to...
Ordered?
Offered.
I was going to say, what the fuck? Who's ordering 15? I'll order 15 grand. Can you just deliver it to the front door?
I'd say Amazon Prime shipping.
Mate, be better than the normal stuff, I guess.
Yeah. While the rewards were intended to encourage genuine leads, they also had an unintended consequence. Police were soon inundated with hoax calls and false sightings, many of which consumed valuable time and resources during an already desperate investigation.
Exactly. So stop wasting police's time.
Yeah, fuck off with your dumb, stupid people.
Okay.
Yep. As the investigation continued, police began to piece together a series of suspicious sightings that suggested Graeme's disappearance may have been planned in advance.
I'm guessing the 5 weeks from when they announced that these people were winning to this is when they're getting their money.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that would have been the 5-week turnaround.
One particularly unusual incident stood out. On June 14th, just 12 days after the newspapers across Sydney had published details of Basil's lottery win, a stranger arrived at the family's flat. Around 7:30 p.m, he parked his car in a nearby street and made his way to the front door. Inside, the Thornes were doing what countless Australian families did each evening and were winding down after dinner. It wasn't time for a social call. In those days, an unexpected knock at the door after dark usually meant one of 2 things: an emergency or bad news. So Frida answered the door, and judging
like a phone call.
Yeah.
Your phone rings after a certain hour, you're like, oh fuck, what?
What is it?
It's not good.
So judging by Frida's expression, the man realised she assumed he was a travelling salesman trying to sell something. He flashed what was described as an engaging smile and calmly launched into what appeared to be a rehearsed story. "Sorry to bother you," he said, explaining he was looking for Mr. Bogner. Frida was puzzled, and she said, "The previous tenant was a Mr. Bailey. I don't know a Mr. Bogner." The man glanced at a notebook he was carrying before asking another question. "Is the phone number at this flat 307113? Frida was taken aback and asked how did he get that number. He replied, "I have my ways and means of getting information. I'm a private inquiry agent and this is a husband-wife affair." Having no familiarity, God, that's a hard word. Try say it. Go, do it.
Familiarity.
With divorce. Divorce investigations or private detectives, Frida was left even more confused by what he meant. "That happens to be my telephone number," she told him, "and it hasn't even been connected yet." The exchange was strange, but at the time it didn't...
How did she have a number if it hadn't been connected yet?
I'm not sure, because they'd only just moved, so maybe it was like it hadn't been connected yet.
Oh, had it not been connected yet?
It hadn't been connected yet.
Okay.
So it was weird, but it didn't set up any alarm bells. The encounter immediately raised suspicion, as it suggested somebody may have been gathering information about the household before the kidnapping took place. Around the same time, multiple witnesses reported seeing a similar described man in a park opposite the Thorne home on several occasions. further fueling concerns that the family may have been under observation. Then another key piece of information came out. At approximately 8:20 a.m. on the morning of the kidnapping, several witnesses reported a iridescent blue 1955 Ford Custom Line double parked near the corner of Francis and Wellington Street, close to where Graeme normally was picked up. The sighting was significant because it aligned closely with Graeme's usual morning routine, suggesting possible premeditation and surveillance of his movements. However, tracking the vehicle proved extremely difficult. Police combed through more than 270,000 registration records and identified around 5,000 vehicles matching that description. And it wouldn't have been a good old computer database.
No, would have been a flicky paper.
Yeah. Investigators worked through the list, interviewing owners and tracing usage history. Despite extensive efforts, no definitive link could be established at the time between the vehicle sightings and Graeme's disappearance. Still, the emerging picture was becoming increasingly concerning. A possible offender who may have studied the family's routine, observed their movements, and planned the abduction with disturbing precision. Even with all these leads, however, Graeme himself still remained missing. On Tuesday, August 16th, 1960, almost 6 weeks after...
I was just going to say, he got kidnapped in July, didn't he?
Yeah. Almost 6 weeks after Graeme Thorne had vanished on his way to school, the search came to a heartbreaking conclusion everyone had feared. Approximately 1.5 kilometres from where Graeme's school bag had been discovered, his body was found on vacant land in Grandview Grove, Seaforth.
I thought they were feeding him to the sharks. They changed their mind.
They changed, yeah.
Had to change their heart, did they?
The 8-year-old had been hidden away on a narrow ledge concealed from immediate view. He was wrapped in a blue tartan picnic blanket, bound with string, gagged with a scarf, and was still wearing his school uniform.
Oh, Jesus. So he could have been there the whole time.
Well, I don't know if I say it. Investigators quickly realised that the blanket containing Graeme's body had been there for some time. 2 local children had apparently known about the bundle, but hadn't understood what it was.
Oh, shit.
It wasn't until they casually mentioned it to their parents at around 7 p.m. that evening the authorities were alerted. The following day, Graeme's father, Basil...
Hang on, like, not pissing on your story, but like if your kid come to you, like a 4 or 5-year-old, and said, oh, there's a big lump of whatever in a blanket.
Yeah.
Would you call the police or would you just go and have a look?
I feel like you'd maybe...
I figured you...
Possibly they went and had a look and went, oh, that looks real dodgy. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, because it just said, oh, they told the parent and the parents rang the police. And I'm like, would you really ring the police before you actually went and gone, is it just a whole lot of rubbish someone's dumped?
There was possibly steps in between.
Yeah, well, you'd hope so, or else they're a bit fucking over dramatic. Oh, hang on, you got a cold? Let me call the ambulance.
Yeah, maybe they were that kind of family.
Hey?
Maybe they were that kind of family.
Or maybe they knew.
The following day, Graeme's father, Basil, attended the city morgue and identified his son's body.
Oh, fuck.
The little boy whose face had stared out from the newspaper front pages and television broadcasts across Australia was finally found, but not in the way anyone had prayed he would be. After weeks of ransom demands, public appeals, and desperate hopes, the case was no longer about bringing Graeme home alive. It had now become a murder investigation. Graeme's body recovered, investigators turned their attention to the painstaking forensic work.
Do you need to read like one word at a time? Investigators turned their
coffee hasn't kicked in yet.
Oh, fucking it needs to. You're not even speaking English, I don't think, at this point.
With Graeme's body recovered, investigators turned their attention to the painstaking forensic work that would ultimately crack the case.
Yay.
Despite the limitations of 1960s technology, the level of detail forensic experts were able to uncover was remarkable. The blue tartan picnic blanket wrapped around Graeme's body became a crucial piece of evidence. Investigators traced it to on Kapparinga Mills.
Who what?
Don't make me say it again.
What's an on Kapparinga Mills? What does it mean?
Traced it to on Kapparinga Mills in South Australia. It was like a mill.
Oh.
Determining it was blanket number 0639 from...
Get out. Blankets have numbers on them.
This one did,
got
apparently.
A cereal and a microchip? What the fuck?
From a production run of 3,000 manufactured between June 1955 and January 1956. It might not sound significant, but in an era before DNA databases and CCTV, Narrowing down an item to a specific batch was a huge breakthrough. The blanket revealed even more secrets. Experts identified traces of 2 species of tree material that weren't present at the Seaforth vacant lot where Graeme had been found. They also recovered Pekingese dog hair and strands of blonde human hair. Graeme himself told the investigators a story too. Examination of his body revealed cuts, abrasions, and evidence of internal trauma.
That's how, like on NCIS, Ducky used to talk to the dead bodies, because the dead bodies tell the story.
Oh, rest in peace, Ducky.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. It became clear that he had died from either asphyxiation, a skull fracture, or a combination of both. Forensic specialists then used every tool available to them to reconstruct what had happened. They examined his stomach context, fungi found on his shoes.
Sorry, his stomach what?
Contents.
Contents.
What did I say?
Context.
You know what? They looked in his tummy.
That's, yeah, why don't you just leave it at that? They checked out his guts, and this is what was in it. The context is...
Fuck off.
All right, what was in his guts?
They found fungi on his shoes, insect activity, including fly larvae, and the condition of his remains. Their conclusions were devastating. Graeme had been murdered within 24 hours of being kidnapped.
Seriously?
The ransom calls, the negotiations, the desperate public appeals and promises that the boy could still be returned safely all happened after Graeme had already been killed.
But see, like, what was the point? Like, yeah, you want the money. You were trying to get the money out of this family you know were just come into a fortune. But how does that help you by killing the kid?
Yeah.
Like, what? That just seems like a fucking waste. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you would have thought you'd have more leverage having this kid, probably more chance of getting caught. Running around with a kid, but it just sort of, it's like, I don't know. Fucking hell.
It's stupid,
People are fucking stupid.
Because what if they went, I want to talk to him before I give you the money?
Exactly. Proof of life. Yeah. Come on, people. God.
Investigators also discovered tiny fragments of pink limestone mortar in soil scrapings taken from Graeme's body and the blanket. The findings suggested that before being dumped at Seaforth, Graeme's body had been concealed beneath a house.
Oh.
Piece by piece, forensic science dismantled the kidnapper's narrative. Armed with their growing list of forensic clues, investigators set out to find the house where they believed Graeme's body had been hidden. It sounded almost impossible. Police were looking...
Nothing's impossible.
Nothing's impossible.
Nothing's impossible.
Police were looking for a property connected by a bizarre combination of evidence. Pink limestone mortar beneath the house, an iridescent blue car, a Pekingese dog, and 2 specific species...
Pekingese or is it Pekingese?
Pekingese.
I thought the dog breed was Pekingese.
Yeah, there's no R at the start.
Because I'm right up with my dog breeds. Just ask anyone that used to work with me in an animal shelter.
Look.
I was a fucking gun.
Look at this beautiful little black guy.
Yeah. How's this little black thing? Isn't it cute?
Pekingese.
Oh, it's a what, Bron? No, it's a Pekingese. Thanks, Bron.
Pekingese dog.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 specific species of trees growing in the yard. While one of the tree species, cypress, was relatively common, experts noted that finding both species together on the same property was far less likely. Thousands of houses had been considered, and then came a breakthrough. Following a tip-off from a local postman, if anyone's going to know the front of a fucking house...
posties know the area.
Yeah. Postman Pat on the fucking case.
Did he have a black and white cat?
He did, not a Pekingese dog. Pekingese. Anyway. Investigators were directed to a house at 28 Moore Street in the Sydney suburb of Clontarf, coincidentally 1.5 kilometres from where Graeme's body had been discovered. When police visited the property on Monday, October 3rd, they learned it had been recently occupied by a Hungarian immigrant named Stephen Bradley.
Isn't he the skater that everyone fell and he won the gold medal?
Oh,
wasn't that Stephen Bradley? I'm sure that's his name.
Different guy.
Different, yeah, you'd assume so. I think he'd be a lot younger.
Yeah. As detectives began comparing the evidence to Bradley's circumstances, the similarities were impossible to ignore. Bradley owned an iridescent blue 1955 Ford Custom Line. The family had a Pekingese dog.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife had blonde hair.
Oh, and his floors were pink underneath.
His property matched the forensic profile investigators had painstakingly built from the evidence recovered from Graeme's body.
But are they still living there? I thought you said he...
But...
Oh, fucking butt me.
There was one major problem.
He'd moved.
Bradley and his family had moved out of the house on July 7th, the day Graeme disappeared, and relocated to a flat in Manly.
Did they have kids or no, just the dog? You didn't say kids, you just said...
I think it was just
blue
a wife.
car, him, blonde wife, dog. See, I do listen.
You do. By the time the police connected the dots, they
I don't absorb anything, but I listen.
You absorb it in the moment.
Split fucking second, I got it. I'm a goldfish. Don't forget that.
By the time the police connected the dots, they had gone even further. Just 1 week earlier, on September 26, Stephen Bradley and his family had boarded the SS Himalaya and left Australia for London.
Bastards.
After
Get on to Scotland Yard.
All right. Calm your farm.
No.
After
Pick them up. They would have been in a boat for fucking 6 months getting there.
After months of dead ends and false leads, investigators finally had a suspect who appeared to fit almost every piece of the puzzle, but now he was on the other side of the world.
Bring him back.
When the SS Himalaya docked at Colombo, Keelan, on Monday, October 10th, 2 Sydney detectives were waiting.
Yes! Suck it. They got a trip to the UK for nothing.
After months of searching, countless interviews and painstaking forensic work, police finally had the man they believed was responsible for Graeme Thorne's abduction and murder. What followed was 5 weeks of legal wrangling before Stephen Bradley was extradited back to Australia on November 18th.
Yeah, suck that asshole.
According to investigators, just before the flight touched down in Sydney, Stephen made an oral confession. Then at 10 a.m. the following morning, he signed a written confession in English. Although Stephen would later retract the statement, claiming it had been improperly obtained, the confession painted a disturbing picture of what had happened to 8-year-old Graeme. Quote, I went out and watched the Thorne boy leaving the house and seen him for about 3 mornings, and I've seen where he went. And one morning I have followed him to the school at Bellevue Hill. 1 or 2 mornings I have seen a woman pick him up and take him to the school. On the day we moved from Clontarf, I went out to Edward Street. I parked the car in a street. I don't know the name of the street. It is off Wellington Street. I have got out from the car and waited on the corner until the boy walked down to the car. Stephen Bradley had actually been born Istvan Brananye in Budapest, Hungary on March 15th, 1926.
26, jeez.
He survived both World War II and the communist takeover of Hungary before immigrating to Australia, arriving in Melbourne aboard the Sukagum on March 28th, 1950, hoping to build a new life. He divorced his first wife in 1948 and remarried in 1952. He and his second wife, Eva Maria Laszlo, had a child together and lived in Melbourne until tragedy struck when Eva was killed in a car accident.
Hang on. The wife was killed?
Yeah, so Blondie isn't the second wife. My apologies. A little over a year later, in August 1956, Braneye legally changed his name by deed poll to Stephen Leslie Bradley. In Stephen Bradley's case, believed that the change was part of anglicising his identity after settling in Australia, making his Hungarian name sound more traditionally English. Then in 1958, Stephen married for a 3rd time.
Blondie.
His new wife, Mag...
Was he a good-looking rooster? Have you got pictures of him? Can't be too fugly if he's 3. Oh.
Look.
Might have a big dick.
Look. Oh.
Well, he was a big dick, so he might have had one as well.
His new wife, Magda Whitman, was a divorcee with 2 children of her own, and together they created a large blended family. But supporting that family brought its own pressures. As their savings began to dwindle, Stephen found himself moving between a number of different jobs, struggling to provide for the growing number of people depending on him. The trial of Stephen Bradley began at Sydney's Central Criminal Court on Monday, March 20th, 1961, where he pleaded not guilty to Graeme's murder. However, during the trial, multiple witnesses, including Graeme's mother Frida, identified him as the man they had seen around the family home before the kidnapping.
Was he the one that knocked on the door about the phone number?
I believe so.
Okay.
While Stephen denied murdering Graeme, he did admit to abducting him.
What? Just palmed him off to someone else?
No. According to his account, he had posed as a driver and fabricated a story to convince the trusting 8-year-old to get into his car. From there, Stephen said he had drove Graeme west to Centennial Park, where he assaulted the little boy, rendering him unconscious, tied him up, wrapped him in the blue picnic blanket, and placed him in the boot of his car. Then he continued with his original plan. Stephen drove north across the Sydney Harbour Bridge and made the first ransom call to the Thorne family, demanding $25,000 for Graeme's safe return. He claimed that after he arrived back home, he checked on Graeme, and then at around 3 p.m, he allegedly discovered that the boy had accidentally suffocated in the boot of his car.
Oh, accidentally suffocated because you knocked him out. You probably gagged him. And
he's wrapped him
in a blanket. So, yeah, that was always going to end out well.
It was an explanation that attempted to frame Graeme's death as a tragic accident rather than a murder. But forensic experts weren't convinced. To test Stephen's version of events, investigators conducted a practical experiment using the car
put some other kid in the boot and gone, let's see how long he lasts. Oh, shit, he died after 2 hours. That was a fuck up.
They connected a breathing mask inside the boot and monitored the air supply over a period of 7 hours, and the results directly contradicted Stephen's claims.
Oh, Stephen, you fuckwit.
The test demonstrated that there was significant airflow inside the boot, making accidental suffocation highly unlikely. The high-profile trial lasted 9 days, but by then, Australia had been gripped by Graeme Thorne's story for months. After hearing the evidence, the jury found Stephen Bradley guilty of Graeme Thorne's murder.
Yeah.
He was sentenced to...
Did his whole family come back on the boat?
You'd assume so.
Why? Well, not necessarily. You're like, why would you pay for the whole fucking family to come back? Just take the little prick that's the murderer.
Maybe they just chilled out in London.
So I've got so many questions.
You really do. I don't have the answer.
Well, fucking this is not good enough. I only tune into this shit to find out answers.
He was sentenced to penal servitude for life. It sounds like he was going to get butt-fucked for life.
He probably was.
The maximum penalty available in New South Wales for murder at the time. For the Thorne family, no sentence could undo what had happened. It couldn't bring back the little boy who had simply set off for school one winter's morning. It couldn't erase the weeks of uncertainty, the ransom calls, or the devastating moment Basil Thorne had to be forced to identify his son's body at the morgue. Bradley later appealed the conviction, taking his case to the Court of Criminal Appeals. But on May 22, 1961, the appeal was unanimously dismissed. The man responsible for one of Australia's most notorious child abductions would spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Good. Is he dead?
So what actually happened on the day of July 7th? This is the theory. Stephen Bradley woke up early on the morning of Thursday, July 7th.
He thought, I'll go and steal a kid.
His wife and children were still asleep. He took comfort in knowing that later that day, they would be leaving for a holiday to Queensland, a trip that he had insisted they take, leaving the family home vacant and giving him the privacy he believed he needed.
Oh.
Before leaving, he removed the family picnic rug from the boot of the car and carefully spread it across the back seat. Then he set off for Bondi. At around 8:15 a.m, Bradley had parked in Francis Street near the intersection of Wellington Street, and it wasn't his first time there. He knew exactly where the 8-year-old would pass. Sitting behind the wheel, he waited. Based on his previous observations, Bradley expected Graeme to appear at around 8:25 a.m, but that morning, Graeme was running late. Concerned that he would delay Phyllis Smith, Frida hurried her son out the door at around 8:30 a.m. with a quick goodbye. Unaware that anyone had been watching his routine, Graeme headed down Wellington Street as he always did. He planned to stop at the corner shop to buy a packet of chips before going to school. As soon as Bradley spotted him approaching, he stepped out of the car. When Graeme came near, the man greeted him confidently and said, "You must be Graeme." The stranger then explained that he had been sent to collect him because the woman who normally drove him to school was unwell. Her sons were already at school, he said, and he had been asked to pick up Graeme and another boy before driving them to Scott's College. He reassured the child that his mother, Frida, knew all about it. To an 8-year-old, the explanation sounded believable.
Of course it would. Jesus.
He knew his name. He knew his mother's name. He knew which school he attended.
Exactly.
Any flicker of doubt Graeme may have felt was eased by the confidence and familiarity of the stranger standing before him.
You're welcome, Dane.
Trusting the adult in front of him, Graeme climbed into the front seat, placing his school case on his lap. As they drove away from Bondi, the man chatted easily with him. He asked about school, sports Graeme enjoyed, and the subjects he liked best. Graeme answered happily, unaware that he was in terrible danger. Eventually the car entered Centennial Park. Graeme began to feel uneasy. He had been there before with his family on picnics and holidays, but never on a school morning. Sensing this, the man calmly explained that they were simply taking a shortcut to collect the other boy. He pulled the car over and said they would only be waiting a moment. Before the 8-year-old could fully understand what was happening, he was overpowered in the front seat of the car. His school cap fell to the floor and his school case tipped into the side as he was struggling against the sudden attack. Within moments, Graeme lost consciousness. Bradley later claimed that he then laid the unconscious boy across the front seat before reaching for the picnic rug he had prepared earlier that morning. After covering him, he carefully looked around to make sure no one was nearby. Satisfied that the area was deserted, he stepped out of the car, opened the boot, and moved Graeme, wrapped in the blanket, to the boot of his vehicle.
No one was around. No one saw anything.
Apparently
like
not.
It's 8:30 in the morning. It's light. It's people going to work. You would have thought there was someone around.
Depends what.
I said what I said.
All right.
Fucking hell.
Stephen Bradley was sent to Goulburn jail to serve his life sentence.
Is he dead?
While in prison, he worked as a hospital orderly and was reportedly kept separated from the general prison population.
Shouldn't have. They should just let him go in there.
Outside the prison walls, the family had been left and tried to rebuild their lives.
Oh, so they did come back.
His wife Magna returned to Europe with the children, eventually divorcing Bradley in 1965.
Yep.
Bradley would never regain his freedom.
And neither he should.
On October...
Graham's never going to regain the ability to breathe.
On October 6, 1968, while taking part in a tennis competition at the jail...
he got killed.
He suffered a heart attack.
Oh, that's a shame.
And died.
Oh, too bad.
At the age of 42.
Oh, what a shame.
He was buried in the Catholic section of the Goulburn Cemetery.
He should have been flushed down the fucking toilet and headed out into the river.
For the Thorne family, however, there was no real ending.
No.
Only the challenge of carrying on after an imaginable loss. Following Graham's murder, the family moved from Bondi to Rose Bay. Basil Thorne, the father who had stood before television cameras begging for his son's safe return, passed away in December 1978. Frieda Thorne lived for many more years before passing away in 2012. The public reaction to Graeme Thorne's 1960 murder was unlike anything Australia had experienced before. There was a shock, disbelief, and overwhelming anger that something so cruel could happen to an innocent child on his way to school.
I reckon.
For many Australians, the case shattered a deeply held belief that children could roam freely and that tragedies like this happen somewhere else.
Damn straight. We used to bloody play outside until the lights came on.
Yeah, so did I. Historians and commentators have since described the murder of Graeme Thorne as one of the events that mark the end of innocence in Australian life. Alongside other tragedies was the 1965 Wanda Beach murders and the disappearance in 1966 of the Beaumont children.
Yeah, knew you were going to say that one.
It fundamentally changed the way Australians viewed safety, trust, and childhood itself. The impact of Graeme Thorne's murder stretched far beyond the courtroom. In the aftermath of the case, Australia was forced to confront the reality that kidnapping for ransom wasn't something that just happened overseas. Up until then, Australians largely viewed that type of crime as an American phenomenon, most famously associated with the kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh's infant son in 1930.
Mm-hmm.
Cases like that belonged in newspaper headlines from other countries, not in quiet Sydney suburbs. Before Graham's abduction, a kidnapping for ransom case of this scale was virtually unheard of. After Graham's, that changed forever. The case led to significant reforms across the country. Lottery procedures were overhauled, with winners given the option to remain anonymous rather than having their names, photograph, address, and financial details.
How many do you see now? Like even in the States where they pick their checkup and they've got a mask on or whatever.
Perhaps most significant was the investigation showcased the growing power of forensic science. Using little more than hairs, soil fragments, plant material, insect activity, mortar dust, and a picnic blanket, investigators were able to identify and convict a killer in an era long before DNA testing, mobile phones, or CCTV footage. It was a meticulous police work combined with groundbreaking forensic techniques that brought justice for Graeme. And that is the case of Graeme Thorne.
Sad.
It is sad, especially when it's like, I don't know, it just creeps you out when it's like, oh, he was watching him for weeks, but then he was only watching him because they put their fucking
name in put him in the headlights.
They won 1 million.
1 million,
I wouldn't mind 1 million.
Well, they won 100 something at the time, equivalent of,
but it'd still be
1 million.
1 million.
1 million. Fucking idiot. It's a bit like that Instagram, one of the pages showed some pedophile going into his cell and 3 other cellmates on the same landing, and you just see them, the 3 smiling as they walk in the cell after it. They killed him.
Yeah, good.
And that's what I thought. They were in there for murder anyway. They weren't coming out, so let them deal with each other. I'm all for it.
The team.
Huh?
Take one for the team.
That's right. That's right. I'm all for it. The security cameras just showed this guy going in his cell, and these 3 outside just look at each other, and they went. And it's like,
as long as it's
done
like
and dusted
and 100% confirmed.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I was listening to one on Case File the other day about a male childcare worker in New Zealand, and he got accused of like molesting a child.
And you didn't?
Oh, just as it evolved and you were listening to like what the kids said, you're like, this is bullshit. It was wrapped up in like the satanic panic, and like he was a little, he had longer hair, and I think he wore nail polish, so he was, something's wrong with him. But yeah, he ended up, it ruined his life. He didn't do anything.
Ah, see?
Yeah.
That's it. It's just, and that goes back to even like how they say that women that accuse men of rape.
Yeah.
And if they aren't the rapists, well, then the woman should be fucking charged.
Absolutely.
Because you've ruined his name, you've ruined his reputation just because you want to be a cunt. No, they should. I'm all for that. If you do a false accusation against it, it should come back to you and go, no, you don't get to play those games and ruin somebody's name and life.
And that's why so many women aren't believed.
Well, that's it.
Because of
other women.
Yeah.
That's right. So,
well, one of the reasons anyway.
Well,
it's too long to get into right now. Well, thank you for listening.
Hang on, we haven't thanked Josh Wolf again.
Oh, dear God.
Last week, I had to thank him because I watched... Which one did I watch last week? The week before. Was that the first one I watched? The Crash?
Yeah.
And then the second one, which I watched as recently, again, because of seeing Josh Wolf's post.
Maternal Instinct.
Was, yeah. Oh, she's fucked up, that bitch. My God.
See, it's funny, all these, like, documentaries are coming out and you're watching them, but I've listened to the case fucking years ago on a podcast.
No, you've got to watch that one, that Maternal Instinct one.
Yeah, that was fucked.
She was bloody batshit crazy. Like half the family picked it. Yeah, no, she was just, that was really good.
But then a lot of people are saying like in the Crash and that one, there's a lot of information that wasn't put into the documentary.
God almighty.
Yeah.
I was ready to hang them both just by what was in it. So... Especially this bitch that cut her friend's guts open, like was there for all the ultrasounds and everything, making out she was their best friend and then pretending to be pregnant herself.
It's so sad because it's like...
And she'd had a fucking hysterectomy.
Yeah.
That was the most ridiculous part of the entire story. How the fuck did you think at some point no one was going to put it together?
You got a hysterectomy.
You could not have kids, so you were not pregnant.
Yeah.
And even when she got to the due date and that and she went a week over or whatever she went... And people are like, at this stage, they didn't believe it. They'd found out that she had hysterectomy. And they're like, what is she going to do? Is she going to go off somewhere and pretend she had a miscarriage? That's what they thought.
They were just waiting to see what happened, not thinking she was going to.
No, that's what they thought she was going to do. She'd bullshitted all the way through and they thought, she's going to go off, pretend she's had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Game over, stupid story, and then go off and do something else dumb. No, she went around to her friend's house and killed her, cut the baby out. And the baby ended up dying because she had it holding it in the car when the police pulled her over.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and the baby never survived. But, yeah, and either did the poor woman who she fucking, her so-called friend that she cut apart, killed her and cut the baby out. But, yeah, that's what everyone thought, that she was just going to pretend she had a miscarriage and be done with it. But
I think the sad thing is, like, that's not even... there's so many stories like that where someone cuts a baby out of a woman.
That was on a TV show. That Amy something or other. She was a Judging Amy. Is that the name of the show?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was a normal like mini-series thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a like a Judge Judy scenario. It was and that's what happened to her. She was the main character, and she was pregnant to. I can picture him. I can't even think what his name is. And that happened.
Yeah.
Someone broke into their house and was trying to cut her stomach open to steal her baby. And it was an episode years ago.
Yeah, it's happened. There's so many that I've heard that, they befriend them and try to fucking steal their baby, or even just random attacks. Like, oh, yeah, you're pregnant, I'll take it.
Yeah.
People are fucked.
Oh, they really are. And it's sad that you've got to live like looking over your shoulder and not trusting people. Like I don't even now, when the phone rings, I don't speak.
Yeah.
You know how they tell you, don't say hi, don't say yes, don't say, because they're recording your voice and whatever. I just answer it and wait for the other person to either hang up, which happens fucking 95% of the times. They just hang up because I've said nothing.
Yeah.
And the other times that you'll get hello, it's so-and-so. And they're like, okay, that's a legit and
call.
I'm like, oh, sorry, couldn't you hear me? And then they start talking once I know who they are.
Yeah.
But I don't say anything when the phone rings if I don't know the number.
I just don't answer the phone.
Oh, well, I answer the phone because you never know.
If you don't leave a voicemail, not important. Don't call. I'm not calling.
Oh, no,
back.
I don't even need people leave a voicemail. The only voicemails I've got on my phone are mum and dad's voice.
Yeah. I don't get many calls. It's either you or Logan's dad. So that's or
hang up
spam.
on me. There's going to be fucking trouble. I'm telling you right now. I know where you live. I'll hunt you down. I'll cut your baby out. Don't you worry about that.
My baby is 3. He's no longer attached.
I'll take him home with me. He'll get in the car with me. He won't even second guess.
There'll be no struggle.
It'll be like, what's she here? Doesn't matter. Get in the car. All right.
I'm like, I'll have a fun break.
Okay, you coming in my car? Yep. Off he goes.
I think he'd willingly go with most people. He's just fucked. Anyway.
Well, some other kid at childcare was coming home with me the other night.
He nearly got a free trial.
When I was like, I'll come with you. Little kid just turned around and goes, I'll come with you. And I'm like, all right, you might want to explain it to your parents, but let's go. I should have just taken him, seen if anyone...
God almighty.
Should have just got to the front door and just come back in and gone, by the way, this kid's not mine.
Oh, my God.
I've got no authority, but you've just let me... I'm going to do that next time that kid goes.
I'm sure one of them would have.
No, I don't reckon they would have. They were so frustrated. Some kid had spilled all the toys and they're like, let's go to the... whenever they moved.
Yeah.
Big room, is that what they call it? Yeah. She goes, let's just go to the big room. It was toys and shit. They wouldn't have noticed if I took that kid. Fuck it, I'm going to do that next time. I'm going to try and steal a kid.
Yeah. Anyway.
We'll play this back for the police that it was a deliberate act. I'm really not a child thief.
Follow us on Instagram at mainly_murder.
And don't send Megan a message because she won't fucking answer.
Or join our Patreon, or you can buy us coffee, you can
Pepsi Max.
Email us, you can, I don't
know, MainlyMurderPodcast @gmail.com.
Oh, yeah.
Email me. Anywho.
Is that everything?
Yep.
Instagram, Patreon, buy us coffee, email, leave us a 5-star rating.
And let's go disconnect the crane next door or whatever's going on.
Yeah, so fucking noisy.
It's getting a bit noisy.
On a Saturday. God almighty.
I know. Saturday's a day of rest. Oh, wait, that's Sunday.
That's Sunday.
Mm.
Good pay, though, on a Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, see you next Tuesday.